Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not.
Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth?
Fire out Melanie on the east coast of Nevada. Good evening, guys. Coming to you live from Melanie. Yeah. No, right in my ears. You still market to the car.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
This is Melanie on the East Coast. Melanie. Yes, guys, Melanie on the East Coast.
All right. Hey, guess what? Good evening. My name is Mark Benshop. It's 7 minutes after 9 o'clock. At least I have a correct time on my watch this evening. Here's what's happening. Here right now, you're looking at that screen there. There's a fire. It happened about maybe about an hour or so ago. That's in Melanie. You know where that cinema is. Those Melonians, we love to make names up. Those Melonians. I hope that there was no injury. I haven't heard of anything of that nature. So we're glad that there's no injury, at least thus far. But this is in Melanie, the old cinema area. I notice Rastaman. Rastaman has got it. Melanie, East Coast Demerara. Melanie on the East Coast of Demerara. Kevin Williams, if you don't see someone here, it means you're not here. Thank you. We're now starting the program, and we want to remain focused. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Mr. Williams. Now, everybody's thanking Rastaman because Rastaman is focused. Rastaman is focused. Now, that cinema has been there for quite some time. I don't know Melanie that well. I've been there, passed through there on many occasions. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know Melanie. What I do know is that many years ago, there was a boat, a big boat in the Melanie foreshore. I'm not sure if many of you would remember that. And the allegations were that guns and drugs and other stuff may have been smuggled. That's right at the back where Larry Lewis' house is. I'm not sure if he still owns it, the late commissioner of police. And I had my camera there, and I went all the way into the mud with some other villagers, and we were using whatever it is, makeshift stuff to get to the boat. I finally got to the boat, and that was something else. I wish we had social media back then. You would have been able to see me in the middle of the Atlantic or heading into the Atlantic Ocean towards that boat. That was something else, though. So, yes, I am familiar a little bit with Melanie. Beautiful people in Melanie. Really nice people in Melanie. They get some good businesses in Melanie. And I'm talking about those selling the little fry fish around the corner, the little Guinness, and so forth. Dog food and nice little business people over there in Melanie. Good evening to all those Melonians, right? Someone is saying here, and I just want to start back in the event I didn't say good night to you guys. Good evening to all of you. This video clip I got from someone by the name of Ray Ray. Whoever Ray Ray is, Ray Ray seemed to be very active on social media. And I just want to give whoever Ray Ray is credit for this. And that's why we love social media. You have all these folks with a little camera and the little phones, and they go out there and they do their thing. And I want to say, again, kudos to Ray Ray. Again, whoever Ray Ray is, they deserve this credit for the footage that we are watching at right now. Let me see here. Somebody. Good evening to Mr. Jamil Aziz and his family members who are watching, and they do so every single night. And I'm told that lots of you guys do that as well with your family. So good evening to all of you. Vidna Hari Prasad. Vidna, how are you doing? And Vidna and I, we're getting old. We've known each other since Farm One days, and I'm glad that you are still with us. Veda has been watching and listening and supporting this platform because of me, right? I'm sure, because our friendship goes like how far? Way back, man. Nice to see you, Vida. Let me see here. Somebody said that they did. They remember that boat. They remember that boat there. Vernita Walton Anthony. I always like that name, Vernita. It's a unique name, but I'm not here. It's not a I like you here, I like your name show, right? We're just warming up, and usually when we warm up. Good evening to all of you, every single one of you. Macnell, if I don't call your name, and John, if I don't call your name, don't get vexed. Beatrice Selby, good evening. She's saying, what? Lord, more fire. Some of you already, Miss Booker and the entire crew. Miss Booker, you guys, the Buxtonians, having a lot of functions here, and I noticed another one coming up soon. Let us know so we can carry your ads for free. And those of you who have business and you want us to advertise your business, we can do it right here on 107.1 FM. We can do it almost next to nothing. We can help you out if you have a business. That's what we do, right? Because the government starves us from ads. Since they've been installed in the office, we receive zero. I want to say it like Trump, zero, right? And that doesn't bother us. We're still moving. We're still cruising through. We're not bothered about that, right, GT Root Girl? And Annette Cummings and all of you guys, we're not bothered about that. Vashti Megnat. Hi, Vashti, how are you? Looks as though we since back in nursery school days, right, Vashti? All of my nursery school friends, they're the only person is Book and them. We haven't gone to school. Brung say he vex. Norman Brung always vex. Good evening to you, Mr. Brung. Norman Brung, is this like them babies were born in Mackenzie Hospital? Like I was actually born in Mackenzie Hospital. Norman Brung always vex. And, you know, every night we look forward, and Emma's here with me. Emma, you want to say good night quickly? I know why you come in the office. I know. You know I'm here. Come on, say good night. You have a lot of fans, right? You're the one who have fans. People tune in to watch Emma and no longer watch me, right, Emma?
How do they know my name?
Pardon me, come.
How do they know my
How they know your name? Because you're here all the time, right? And they support you 100%. Emma for president. Emma Benshop for president. You want to close the door for me, please? Thank you. Sorry about that, guy. Whilst we're still warming up, I know what Emma is up to. I know what Emma is up to. Say good night. I know that's what you come in every night just to say good night. And it's okay. Say good night. All right. Good. Thanks for coming in, right? Everybody knows your name, Emma. Look, let me say this to you guys. I'm dotish. I know what's going on. She wants to take over the show, but it's okay. I encourage her. It's okay. You guys forgive me sometimes, but I know what's going on with her. She wants to take over Benshop, Rachel. So let's go into that fire there and find out, get some information. We invited Miss Washington to come on. We got some legal matters pertaining to Guyana to clear up with her about the rape case and so forth and so on. Let's get back to this fire, guys, and we get down to business right here on 107.1 FM. All right, that event happened earlier in Melanie. We hope all is well. Nobody got injured. And let me take the time to welcome all of you right here on 107.1 FM. Somebody's saying Freddie Kisoon losing his hair. We're not bothered. Notice we don't mention these guys here. And these things are distraction. He could lose his hair. He could lose what he didn't even get or whatever, We're not bothered. We don't discuss those people here, man. We don't. We just don't. We don't discuss these people here. We discuss issues right here, right, Morna? Morna? Morna, Grandmorna, what's going on? What's going on, Morna, Grandmother? What's happening? Arlene and all you guys, good evening. Tonight seems like a good evening kind of guy, right? Night, right? Radhika Suklal. How are you doing, Radhika? Hope all is well. When I hear the name Radhika, it reminds me of that song, Radhika, why you leave I'm gone, since you leave me. Sorry about that. We're still warming up, right? We're still warming up. Let's get to Miss Washington. I think for some reason she likes my singing voice, There was a song, a chutney song that came out, and the guy has an annoying voice, but the song made people just want to buy more and more rum and more beer. Since you leave me, Radhika, why you leave and gone? It happened during a time when everybody get left, right? Jack D get left, Anil get left. Not me. Good evening to you, Miss Washington. How are you?
Hi, good evening, Mark, and good evening to all of you out there who are listening to the Mark Bench Chop Radio 107.1 FM. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, Mark. How are you?
And it's always a pleasure to have you here with us on 107.1 FM. I was going to finish up a story with Norman Brung. Norman Brung said he vex. I don't know what Norman Brung vex about. But a lot of folks that born at Mackenzie Hospital weren't born vexed at all. I mean, I was born at Mackenzie Hospital. I was the only baby laughing in history, gone down in the Guinness Record Book of the only baby laugh for about an hour, right? I don't know about you, Miss Washington. You're a Mackenzie baby too?
No, I think my mom said I was born at Wismer Hospital.
Oh, you're Wisma. All right. Good to see you, though. Welcome again to 107.1 FM. My name is Mark Benshab. And it's a holiday in Guyana. It's Eid, and you say Eid Mubarak, and happy Eid to all of our Muslim brothers and sisters throughout Guyana and outside of Guyana. Jamal, Aziz, you and your family, Eid Mubarak to you and everyone in your family and all of our, like I said, our Muslim brothers and sisters. I like to say the thing, Salam Alaikum, right? And then when you say Salam Alaikum, they say Wa Alaikum Assalam. And I like the other term, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillah. I love to show off my little bit of Arabic. But welcome to all of our Muslim brothers and sisters who are watching this program, either in Guyana or outside of Guyana. Miss Washington, how was your day, please?
A little bit busy, as usual. But I always find time for those things that really matters to me.
And I thank you so much. On behalf of all of our listeners, they're thankful for your time as well. Give us a quick rundown. What's happening at your law firm? I know we're not here to discuss that, but spend a minute or two to tell us how busy is your law firm and what's going on? How's your staff and how are they taking all of your large amount of calls I assume you're getting?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's been overwhelming, and I'm so grateful for all of those people here. And the ones who are not here listening, maybe they'll listen to the program at some other time. I want to thank all of you because a lot of calls are coming, and most of those people are calling and they're saying that, somebody, my family give me your phone number, or a friend of mine give me the phone number and told me to call, or the family member might be in Georgetown, Guyana, and they're saying they received the number from some family member in Georgetown who called them and tell them if they have any legal issue to call my phone number. So it's been really overwhelming, and I want to say thank you so much, you guys. You guys are absolutely the best. I'm grateful for all the support that I'm getting from all of the listeners who come on this show every night faithfully, and they're listening to the Mark Benchtop Radio. I'm so grateful for all of you. It's overwhelming, and my staff have been trying their best to return all the calls. I know that there are times when people have called and we might have our hands full. But if people are just a little bit patient, we always get back to every single caller. If you call us and you don't get us right away, we will call you back. All right. So we've been pretty much taking care of all of the calls, all of your calls we've been responding to. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for every single one who've been doing their part to help me to build our firm even bigger and better. I'm so grateful to you guys. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, and thank you so much too, because we've gotten a lot of positive reviews from you. People have called and they said that you've always been attentive to them, including your staff. Please give my regards to your staff and have them continue on that good professional path. Thank you.
I will, Mark. Thank you.
All right, let's move on. I want to, outside of the fact that there's a fire that should be contained by now in Melanie. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Melanie, because I know you're from Linden, probably hardly went to Georgetown when you were in Guyana. You're familiar with Melanie, though, are you?
Well, absolutely. I did, as a matter of fact, lived in Georgetown during my years at the University of Guyana, Mark. So, yeah.
Yep, thanks. I got that. That hurts indeed. Yep. And so, at least we are glad that you actually attended a university that's recognizable, that we do know. Unlike some folks who attended a ghost university that doesn't exist at all. Having said that, I just want to say warm good evening to the folks in IFLAT. Miss Lane, Rhonda Lane, and others there in IFLAT. We are told that there is a university. Miss Lane, if you can find that university, you will be given 100 Guyana dollars for that university. Good night, Rhonda. Such a champion of a woman. Miss Washington, I want to get to this situation first. I'm not sure if you saw it before, but this is actually the PPP thugs, the gangsters in the PPP who were they were in Parliament and they were yelling a particular word. It was uncalled for, totally uncalled for. Let's just get to this comment quickly here from Carol Roberts, is saying, "Mark, the fire real. Yeah, thank you, Miss Roberts. Carol, the fire real, arrived at that scene minus water. Come on, what do you guys expect under the PPPC? Nothing at all can go good under them. Actually, nothing at all. Rhonda Lane, sorry about that. I forget, not IFLOT, but then I'm still sorry about that, Rhonda. How can I miss that? But let's get to this point. Joylyn Cutting, good evening to you. I want you to listen to this. And from a woman's standpoint, this was in Parliament. This is Priya Manik-Chan, and you see a couple of the other vagabonds in the PPP there surrounding the cops, manhandling the cops. And these are people who love to call people thugs and all manner of things. Let me remind our listeners as we go to this tape and get your opinion about it. All right. So you saw that portion there where Priya Manik-Chan, you got Harry Gill, you got Irfan Ali, you have Frank Anthony, you got the Indigenous Affairs so-called minister. All of these vagabonds. You saw what they did there to the police. And all of the police are of African descent. You heard what they were yelling for, Priya and the entire crew. They were yelling for rape in Parliament. Your take, please, Miss Washington, assuming that you saw that before.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen this many years ago when it actually happened. And it's very distasteful to have the people who are supposed to be serving our country engaging in conduct which is unbecoming. Because when they're yelling rape, now rape is a very serious allegation. If you use the word rape, it's indicative of somebody's committing a crime. And we know that There was no rape happening here. And this shows clearly how misinformed and misguided a lot of Guyanese are in Guyana, to abuse a word like rape in a situation where it's not actually happening. Because you move fast forward into the present time when there's an actual allegation of rape, and there's no action being taken by the government to correct the situation. But here you have ministers in parliament screaming, making a malicious false statement about rape when there's no rape happening here. And those are Afro-Guyanese police officers who are trying to maintain law and order in parliament. But you have so-called ministers, and this is why we have to be careful of the thugs we put in public office, because then you have this type of unprofessional, unethical type of conduct coming from them. If they could do this at this level, I could understand why they're trying to cover up an actual rape, and it's not important to them to address the realities of what we're facing. But in fact, they're working tirelessly to cover up a situation which they should be exposing now. They should be coming out and exposing the nature of it, exposing the fact that admit that they have a pedophile. They had a pedophile sitting in a public office. And even though he's just given leave, he's not terminated, he hasn't been fired, so we still have a pedophile sitting in a public office. So this type of conduct, shouting the word rape when knowing very well that rape is a serious offense and there are actual victims of rape who are suffering right now because the police are refusing to prosecute it, and the PPP are refusing to speak out against that sort of conduct, because I'm pretty sure a lot of those ones sitting right there in parliament are probably themselves guilty of pedophilia. Them themselves are probably at some point engaged in this type of conduct, because for a very long time, a grown adult engaging in sexual activities with a minor has been seen as normal in Guyana. And even now, this is a type of conduct we need to stamp it out. We need to speak up against it so that people will become educated and they will stop condoning or encouraging adults to get engaged in sexual activities with minors. So, as I said, this sort of conduct is unprofessional, unethical, and I do not support it in no way, form, or shape what the PPP did in Parliament at this particular occasion, including Priya Manachan.
And all of them there, because the social service minister is there also, Vindi Prasad, and then you have the former social service minister, Chandra Chatterpal, who was part of the Women and Gender Equality. I don't know why, and she's the chairman of that organization, that committee. And then you have the likes of these other vagabonds who are there. You see Irfan Ali is also there. And you made a very valid point there, an interesting point, that if they can do this, if they can behave like this in public, in parliament, and if they can just yell for rape, just imagine what they could do or accuse somebody behind the scene. Just imagine, Miss Washington and our listeners. Let's get back to that, the beginning, where the cops were being physically assaulted by these vagabonds, these thugs. Take a look at that. In Parliament, nothing happened to these vagabonds. The Speaker of the National Assembly then didn't suspend these thugs, these hooligans, these PPP hooligans. Where else in the world? Take a look at Harry Gill and Frank Anthony. They physically assaulted that cop, and they were still allowed to sit in Parliament. Your take, please.
Right. You see, that's the thing about the way the PPP operate in Guyana. The law is not applied equally across the board. For some reason, this government believes, or they're misguided, that if they commit an offense, that they're exonerated from going through the proper process, due process. They, for some reason, think that they're automatically exonerated or they're immune from prosecution. They are not treated at the same standard that they want to treat the ordinary Guyanese at. So the ordinary man, he is abused, he is treated unfairly. There's judicial execution, there's lack of due process, and there's times when they're charged without no proper evidence or no justification for bringing them to before a court of law. But here you have on camera, you have people, you have members of parliament assaulting police officers. It's recorded. The evidence is there, but nothing has happened from this, obviously, for obvious reasons. We already know what the PPP is about. Their game is about corrupt practices, is about fraudulent practices, is about protecting their own, and it's about tearing down those who don't support them. It's about unlawfully conducting business in a country that ought to be conducted lawfully. They do not care about law and order. They do not care about enforcing the law across the board correctly. They just care about themselves. They got to realize that Guyana is our country. It's not Barajagdio's country. It's not the PPP's country, but it's the Guyanese people country. And Guyanese have to realize, recognize that this is your land. You know, they sang that song. I heard it when I was in I think nursery school. This land is your land. This land is our land, from the Ruparuni to the Pomeroon or whatever.
It goes kind of like this.
Yes.
This land is my land.
Right.
This land is
Right.
your land.
Yes.
From the
And this is what,
Ruparuni
yes. And
We
this
all know
is
that.
what Guyanese people ought to recognize. This
They have changed it though too. This land is their land. It's
Yes.
not our land anymore. It's their land.
Exactly. And this is what Guyanese people ought to wake up and realize. It's not Barajagdio's country. It's not PPP's country. It's your country. And you got to step up and recognize and take your country, take back control of your country and stand up and say, well, you know, enough is enough. There is no country except the corrupt ones that has one government sit there for over 23 years and allow widespread corruption, allow one man, because this is a one-man presidency, actually. It's really not Alpha and Ali. He's really not the president of Ghana. People got to wake up and see who is the person pulling the strings behind the puppet. There's just one puppet in front, and the real puppet master is behind him pulling all the strings. Barajagdio has really been ruling Ghana from the time he stepped foot into office all the way to now, except for the 4 years when we had an honorable president, David Granger. All the rest of the years is one puppet master Guyana had, and Guyana is sitting down quietly, allowing one foolish puppet master to pull all the strings. And while you suffer in a situation where you don't have free speech, you don't have money, you're starving, there's not enough ways for you to create your own type of employment. There's not enough employment because the government is bringing in foreign workers now to take your jobs. And then even when we have natural resources, they're giving it out to foreign countries. So you got to understand and recognize and get up and say, well, you know, enough is enough. We had this puppet master pulling all the strings for too long, and he got to go. And once he gets out, once Guyanese recognize and get him out of the way, then we'll be able to take proper control of our country and turn it into a true democratic country. Find a leader. We're going to elect somebody who has integrity, who has moral values, who can lead our country in a way that is conducive to a true democracy.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Shalon Washington. Let's continue with this state true democracy, because we're not seeing that in Guyana under the corrupt PPPC regime. A bunch of thugs, a bunch of hooligans, a bunch of hoodlums, a bunch of Nimakaram, a bunch of Katahars, a bunch of Chamars, a bunch of Korhis, a bunch of Tidikabur, Nanika Cholor, a bunch of trench crappos, a bunch of wild hogs. That is what they are, and even more. Let's get back to the state, please. So look at what happened to that cop. We saw Priya Manikchan, who is the Minister of Education. We saw how she behaved there. We saw how all these thugs, all these hooligans behaved there. We just saw, and we're not surprised. If I had my way, they would have been in jail, locked them up, and dashed the keys away in the Atlantic Ocean. They don't deserve to be free. They don't deserve to run a country. They deserve to be in a foul pen or just do some planting, plant some shallot or some baigan or some saijambaji, and that's it. And stay somewhere in their houses and eat coconut and chanchi and sugar. That is what they they ought to be doing. Unfortunately, these hooligans are running a country, and a country that has billions of dollars of oil wealth. What do we expect? Anything better from these hooligans who love to sit and call people on the opposition, and people going to go and protest and do all manner of things? When these people are past masters of that. They are hoodlums, they are hooligans, they are thugs. That is who they are. The evidence is quite clear. We don't see members of the opposition in parliament behaving like this. In fact, the members of the opposition want to debate, and some of them are good at that. The others try. But we don't see this sort of behavior from members of the opposition. When there was an issue with what was it that they were fighting for? And rightly so. They were defending, the opposition members of parliament were defending democracy against these thugs, these hooligans, including that man who sits there right now as the Speaker of the National Assembly, who it is said is a citizen of Canada, but he sits there in Guyana as the Speaker of the National Assembly. Now, there's an issue there with that. But let us get back, please, and see this tape, and let the world see how these hooligans operate.
I think it's an embarrassment on behalf of women. I want to say this often very clear. I have had personal encounters with persons who was raped. It's a really hard thing. And rape is not a joke or something to be mocked at.
It is certainly, and that is where we agree with Simona Brooms, it is not something to mock. It is not something to laugh at. And what they did, and we see here, Priya Manik-Chan is responding. Let's see what Priya Manik-Chan is saying here. Let us see what Priya Manik-Chan is saying here. Priya Manik-Chan is saying here, you know fully well, Mark. I don't know, Priya. I don't know. I'm seeing that video, and I saw that you guys assaulted a police or policeman. I saw you, Priya, assaulted a policeman. There was no need to shout and yell on top of your voice, rape, rape. Who was doing that to you guys in there, Priya Manik-Chan? If you want to come on the show, I will send you a link right now. And come on, let's discuss the matter. Don't hide behind your keyboard or hide on your Facebook page. Let's continue here. What Priya Manik-Chan is saying. Priya Manik-Chan is saying, Mark, none of the women there said rape. So it's who the hell in rape? Indeed, you have a video running there where you are seeing that no woman there said rape. And what is more, you can't show anyone saying rape simply because no one in the frame of the camera said rape. Well, then who said rape, Priya? Right? That call was actually made by Colonel Damon. Wait, so there's Damon, a man yelling rape? A PPP man yelling rape with a female voice? Rape, rape. Come on, Priya. Try something better than that. You're putting the blame on poor Damien now. Poor Damien. I wish Caesar, when Caesar was on now to respond, but we'll have Mr. Caesar tomorrow with us. So Priya continues here. It's a male, right? Who is not in the frame of the video. What you need to ask is, why when police came to deal with women, the police, Priya Manik-Chan, didn't go to deal with women. They went to deal with a situation in Parliament concerning that vagabond, Robeson Ben, who sits there as an illegal minister. Right, Priya? That is what the police went to go and do their lawful duties. But you prevented them, and others obstructed them in the course of their duty. And you should know better, Priya Manik-Chan. You're a liar. You should know better. But you didn't know better. You wanted to prove a point. That is why you assaulted that policeman. Shame on you, Priya. Shame on you. And we will go back to that tape. You want to say now you're putting the blame on poor Damien. Damien sung like a woman, right? Is Damien hollering rape? Why would a man holler rape?
I think there are more voices. It's not just one voice.
Yeah, let's go back there, Priya. Priya, stop it, please. Stop it. Let's go back to the tape and let's hear if that is Damien. Now all of a sudden it's Damien. Poor Damien. Can't even read and write properly. But he in Parliament for the PPP. They're in Parliament hollering. Okay, Priya. If you say it's Damien and it's only Damien, let's go back to the tape.
I think it's an embarrassment.
Priya, Damien, just Damien alone? What kind of thing is this? Miss Washington, over to you, please.
I think, Mark, people's memory are sometimes short-lived, and this is why I had a professor, Aubrey Bishop, the late Aubrey Bishop, who always told us the shortest pencil is longer than the longest memory. I think sometimes, indeed, people's memory is short-lived, because I remember quite clearly there was a video circulating the internet, and it showed clearly Priya Manik-Chan was yelling rape. And even in this video, you could see the lady, the woman in purple. I don't know what her name is. You look in the video, you see there's a woman in purple.
That is, well, let me cut you for a second. The woman there in the purple, she gets her mouth open. That's the one used about $3 million. I hope Priya is still there. About $3 million taxpayers' dollars to go and fix your teeth. $3 million taxpayers' dollars. Her name is she's the current minister, is Pauline Sukai. Pauline take $3 million of taxpayers' money and do up her teeth. When she went into Parliament, she had rotten teeth. She had all of the back here, her teeth missing, all in front, and she used taxpayers' money to do her teeth. So her name is Pauline Sukai. Continue, please.
So yes, you could see clearly. You could see clearly Pauline Sukai is yelling rape. And I don't think this is the only video here, Mark, because the other video with Priya Manik-Chan clearly saying the word rape, I don't see that. The clarity of what we saw in that other video, I don't necessarily see it in this one. So if she wants to cover that up, and I think this is the problem with the PPP. They're always trying to cover their tracks. They're always trying to cover up rather than coming out and admit, well, yes, I did do that, but I'm sorry, that conduct was wrongful. They never apologize to the public. They always try to cover up. And this is why we have a government who continuously cover up wrongful conduct, cover up fraudulent conduct, cover up misconduct, cover up rape, allegations of rape, fraud, forgery. They cover it up. They never tried to say, well, come out to the Guyanese people and apologize and say, well, you know, I did something. It wasn't right. Even in a democratic society as America, where we live, we see it all the time. Public figures, everyone makes mistakes. And when they do, they admit to the public that they were wrong and they apologize. And if necessary, they step out of office, because if the conduct was too egregious to be forgiven, they step down peacefully. But not these thugs that we have in Guyana. They wrongfully engage in illicit conduct, and then they take it and they throw it in the face of the Guyanese people, and they never ever apologize. They tell you clearly, like, listen, I rule you. I'm ruling Guyana. This is my country, and you're gonna jump to my tune. And Guyanese people got to recognize that these people don't own Guyana. They don't own you. It's the other way around. You own them. You're paying them. You're putting money in their pocket. They're paid by your tax dollars. They're paid by the money the people of Guyana own. So as soon as you recognize that they don't own you, but you own them. You own Priya Manik-Chan. You own Barak Jagdeo. You own Irfan Ali. Once you recognize that, the table gonna turn, because then you're gonna recognize that if they don't do what you want them to do, which is look out for the best interest of the public, of the people of Ghana, you're gonna say, well, they got to go. And that's why we have all of this misconduct, is because of condoning. The people of Guyana condone it. If you stop condoning wrongful conduct and speak up when you see wrong, like if you see Priya Manik-Chan shouting rape in Parliament, doing something that she obviously should not be doing. Rape is a very serious allegation, and it's not to be abused. Use the word and abuse it loosely. And she is, or supposed to be, I don't know if she still is, she was supposed to be an attorney also. So she shouldn't have engaged in that type of conduct. She never apologized to the people of Ghana, but yet she serves in a public office, and the people of Ghana continuously continuously condoning wrongful conduct. But you got to speak up, people of Ghana. You got to rise up and stop all of this wrongful conduct from continuing to be perpetrated. You know, it's a perpetual type of behavior we're seeing. We're seeing it from different, you know, from 4-year term. The next 4-year term is the same thing. And it's been ongoing for the past 23 years plus. And if you don't stop it, it will continue.
So Priya took a chance to respond. I would prefer, Priya, that you come on the show because I'm not in the mood to keep reading and reading. You said this, you said that. You said this, you say. You keep. How many of you guys think that we should send Priya Manik-Chan an invitation right now to come on the show? And how many of you guys think she will accept that invitation? Priya, I don't want to waste my time to send you the link to come into the studio right now. Say publicly whether you want to come on the show now, and we will invite you. And we will have a professional show. It wouldn't be a shouting match. And you wouldn't have cause to grab me and tug me like how you tug that cop and so forth. If you want to come on this show, Priya, say yes right now and you'll get a link to come right into the studio. And we can just discuss this here. Let us see. Let us see if we hear. If you see Priya says yes, let us know.
Mark.
Let's continue. Go ahead, Miss Washington.
You know, Priya making allegations about libel. I need somebody to dig that video up and remind her, because that video was circulating all over the internet. People's memory is really, really short. We need to find it and put it up here so that the world could see the type of conduct she was engaging in. People's memory is really short, really short-lived.
Very, very short indeed. But the other thing is the fact that the cops were assaulted. What Manik-Chan is attempting to say, and let us not forget, Priya, that there's this Dharamlal issue, allegations of rape, right? That the DPP wants to cover up, the police want to cover up, and the regime is pretending that they don't know of the covering up of this rape allegations against one of your colleagues, Nigel Dharamlal. Let's go back to this tape and see how those cops who were merely called in to calm these PPP thugs down, calm them down. Calm them down. Look at Pauline Sukai. She should be thankful to taxpayers that were able to repair the teeth in her mouth for $3 or $2.5 million. She went into Parliament, broke up. And look how a lot of them went into Parliament, broke up. Rohi, all of them went in, broke up. It's taxpayers' money, repair them. All of them taxpayers' money, repair. Let's continue with this tape.
I think it's an embarrassment.
You know, we saw Neil Kumar, we saw a bunch of them hollering rape. Nowhere in that note from Priya Manik-Chan did she mention anything else about anybody else. She put the blame on and look who she put the blame on. A man from I think he's either from iPlat or Denhamstel, name whatever his name is, a big strapping guy, and that guy can hardly talk, can hardly read and write. A person whose ancestor is probably from Ghana or Nigeria somewhere. She put the blame on only he. And look, we heard the others. Let's go back to that tape, please. We heard the others yelling rape. But Priya Manik-Chan says only one person yelling rape. One person. Look, Priya mouth there, look. Priya? One person she claimed hollering rape. Hear this, look at this. You see what Priya was doing? Priya was pushing up herself to these cops and then pretending as though they assaulted her. How dare they assault a woman or women? The police didn't go there. The police were restraining themselves. You guys were the aggressors. You guys were moving towards the police, them assaulting. It is right there. Priya, it is not me who is talking. It's the evidence. And you as an attorney should know that this is the evidence. This is not circumstantial evidence. This is actual Physical evidence. The evidence is right there for all to see what you guys did and the crimes that were committed. Miss Washington.
You know, it's obvious she's putting her hands on the police officer. And, you know, I don't understand if she doesn't understand when you take her out to serve in a public office, you become a public figure. So you're not shielded in any way when it comes to defamation or libel or anything of the sort. So if you don't know, you better go back to your tort text, okay? Because I'm like the queen of tort. And she's asking for a dress to serve. I would gladly tell her 455.
You might be the queen of tort. It doesn't mean that. And let's give Priya some credit, please. You might be the queen of tort, but it doesn't mean Priya is not a queen. Priya is the queen of pine tart. But anyway, pine tart. Continue, Ms. Washington.
You know, when you agree to serve in a public office, there's certain things that you're not shielded from. And you're not exempted from anything, and you're not treated in the same way as a regular citizen. And if you engage in any conduct as in this video, where you're pushing against a police officer, or you're engaging in conduct which is deemed aggressive or unlawful or illegal in any form or shape, the public can speak up about your conduct. And you got no right to sue the media. And this is what the PPP do. This is your game. Every single time people speak up against the conduct of the PPP, anyone serving under them, they try to use the law. They try to apply force, or they try to arrest or, incarcerate. There's no free speech in Ghana. And people, you look at this and you will understand. If we were in Ghana, you see, Priya Manik-Chan speaking about legal correspondence. If we were in Ghana, it would have been more than legal correspondence, because what the PPP does, they harass you. They issue arrest warrant for you.
And under the PPP regime, they also kill, they also assassinate, they also lock people up wrongfully for years. They torture people. These are the things happen under the PPP regime.
Yes.
And you're correct.
This is their conduct. They don't take criticism. They don't like you to criticize them. They don't like you to speak the truth against their conduct. Every time you attempt to do that, they're coming for you. And this is the type of thing we got to stop, because Guyana has to be a true democracy. And clearly you could see, the public can see this. Come and read Ms. Manik-Chan's comment here. Look at it for yourself, and you will understand the type of regime Guyanese are under. Guyanese are under tremendous torture. You're being controlled. Guyanese people are being controlled. You're not acting on your own free will when you're in Ghana. When you're living there, there's no freedom of speech. There's no freedom of press. You don't have that like we have in the United States. In America, we can speak up against any public figure. We can say whatever we want to say, and they cannot come and say, well, we're gonna report this, or we're gonna do that. No, because why? Freedom of speech, democracy. People are allowed to express their views. Even if the views are adverse to you, you got to take it. You choose to sit in a public office. If you don't want the criticism, if you don't want the fire under your feet, step aside. You have that prerogative to step out of office. If you can't take the heat, step aside, because that's what you have acquiesced to by virtue of stepping into a public office.
So wait a minute. Priya now is saying another video can only show you the same thing, but perhaps from a different angle. Who cares, Priya? Stop about a different angle and the dotishness. First, you came here and accused one man of yelling rape. One man. When we are seeing the evidence, we are not dotish people, Priya. So Priya continues here. Here you are seeing my mouth, my body. Oh, yeah, of course we can see your mouth. We can see your body, right? And I am not saying anything like rape. Oh, really? You're not? So what are you saying? What exactly are you saying? What other video can show you what didn't happen? Here is the deal. Get that video and I resign. Ooh, Priya says she will resign. Now Priya continues. Don't get it and send me your address where I can send you legal correspondence for libel. How about that? Priya, don't come here threatening people for legal libel. Don't threaten people on legal libel at all. Don't try it. You were in Parliament. You didn't operate in the manner that a parliamentarian ought to operate. You guys operate thuggish. You guys operated like hooligans. You guys operated like worse than trench crappos. Worse than that, you guys operated because y'all assaulted cops and nothing happened. Absolutely nothing. Don't come here with crocodile tears, but from another angle and from another this and from another that. People are not stupid here on this show. Don't come with that. She wants to say your address and libel and all these things. What's going on?
That's
You're the
what I
lawyer
was referring.
to somebody who is supposed to be a lawyer. Let's hear from you now.
That's what I was responding to, Mark, when I was mentioning that I'm the queen of tort. So I know my rights and I understand libel and it's a tort. It's a part of defamation. So we're not saying anything that is defamatory on this show. Anything we say, we speak facts. And as I said before, she is a public figure. And if she can't take the heat when people decide to speak up against her, she needs to step aside. That's what you acquiesce to when you agree to go into a public office. That's what the territory brings. You will get criticism when you do something wrong that requires the public to speak out against it. The public will. And this is what I was saying earlier, Mark, but this is the way the PPP act. Every time people attempt to speak up against their wrongful conduct, they fire and they say, well,
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that you were quick enough to read that. My apologies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Mark.
That is how they are indeed. Continue, Ms. Washington. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Continue.
I try to read as many comments as the comments go. I try to read everyone's comment, So I did see that, and that's what I was responding to. But, people, Guyanese, we're smart. We're very intelligent people. So we know when we see something that is not right. And like I said, as always, this is why there's shows like Mark shows to speak up against wrongful criminal conduct on the part of the installed regime. If they're offended by the show, well, let them continue to be offended because they ought to feel that way. If they're acting illegally, if their conduct is not in compliance with the law or it's not in accordance with a democratic society, they ought to feel the heat and they ought to feel embarrassed. They ought to feel shame because they're not doing their job correctly. And if you're feeling the heat, step aside. If you can't take it, step aside.
Step aside indeed. Tonight happens to be the 4th of July celebration for the U.S. The 4th of July independence. It's happening right now. I believe it probably about to wrap up at the ambassador's residence here in Georgetown. And Priya would know what I'm talking about. Priya is, I am told, and Priya, you can get your book to send a libel or whatever. I am told that Priya is no longer allowed on the premises of the U.S. ambassador's residence in Georgetown. I am not sure if by what she did, which is basically disrespected the U.S. ambassador, Brent Hart, back then when there was this celebration, or was it his farewell, or somewhere, she basically disrespected them right there in behaving in the usual manner. I'm not sure whether she is banned from entering the U.S. I'm not sure. Only Priya can say whether she is allowed to visit the U.S. or not. But what I do know is that she is not welcome at the U.S. ambassador's residence in Guyana. Does that come as a surprise to you, Ms. Washington?
Not at all. Any Guyanese that is serving under the PPP, if I get news that they're not allowed on U.S. property or on any property rented or owned by a U.S. Official or a diplomat, or their visas are revoked, it's not surprising because we have been seeing a lot of illegal conduct by government officials under the PPP. And it should come as no surprise to any of the Guyanese right now. We know what we're dealing with. We understand that, it's the puppet master that is controlling the country. He puts people very much like himself. He agrees to people serving under him who are very much like himself. Because as you can see, when after President Granger's term had ended, he made sure he cleared out everyone who served under President Granger. All of those public servants, they lost their jobs. They were terminated, illegally terminated, or forcefully removed from their office. So this is no surprise. The people of Guyana should be awakened that this is something that we're going to be dealing with until we decide that enough is enough, and we're going to stand up against this illegally installed government. I don't know any democratic country. You need to open your eyes to and realize I do not know any democratic society that has the same government in power perpetually. What usually happens is when the people are dissatisfied with the government, with the way the country is being run, they elect the opposition. And it takes turn. You look at Trinidad and Tobago, you see the way their elections go, and they have a similar type of system that we have in Guyana. You look at most country that allows for the democracy, and you will understand that no political party, no political government would remain in office on a perpetual basis. Every 4 years you're voted in. You must realize that there is fraud that is operating there. And then if you see that there's no way to thwart the plans and to disrupt the fraudulent conduct by any political party, you realize you got to hit the streets. You got to take things into your hand and say, well, enough is enough. This government has got to go. They have to go, because we see a situation here where we are being controlled, where Bar Jagdeo is controlling the nation. He's controlling everything that you do. He's controlling what comes in and goes out of the country. He's controlling everything. And then he's just the puppet master. And then we have the puppet in front, who is the installed president, who's really not the president, because his word is not final. And we know, as the president, your words are usually final. You have control of whatever goes on in Parliament. But this is not the situation here. We have a situation where we have a lot of illicit conduct taking place under the PPP regime. And this brings me to the very issue mark about this whole Dharamlal situation, with them not sending the police sending the file to the DPP, and then the DPP sending the file back to the police for further investigation. And we know that this is a sham. This is a sham. It's not even what is happening. The Guyanese people are being deceived, because you know what? You could go read the Sexual Offences Act in Guyana. Guyana has a Sexual Offenders Act. You could go read it for yourself. It's called the Sexual Offences Act, Chapter 8.03. Go read it for yourself. And you will realize under the Sexual Offences Act that a person could actually be charged with rape. Just on the paper, there's papal committal in those type of cases. They don't even have to go through the full preliminary inquiry no more because of that act. I think the act was implemented in 2013. So if you see that the file is being sent back and forth from the police to the DPP, when the DPP really shouldn't even be involved, this case should really go to the magistrate, and the magistrate makes a decision on the paper of whether or not to commit Dharamlal, and then send Dharamlal to stand trial in the High Court. But we're seeing clearly that that's not what they're doing. They have the file floating around back and forth. And this brings me to another point, that if the statements alone, if the person could be convicted, well, not really convicted, but charged just based on the statements only, the victim's statement and any other witness statement, and the magistrate could do that just based on the paper, it begs the question as why is the file going between the police and the DPP versus from the police to a magistrate, for the magistrate to make the decision. And then when the magistrate makes the decision, then if the DPP wants the file goes to them, because they're the ones who has to prosecute this in the High Court. You understand? When the file goes, and as far as I know, there was no paper committal. This file never got before a magistrate, as far as I know. If the Guyanese people know differently, they could let us know whether or not this file ever met a magistrate desk. As far as I know, it never went there. So this is a sham. You understand? It's not real. What they're doing is trying to deceive you and make you believe, as Guyanese people, that they're taking this seriously. And they want to prosecute Nigel Dharamlal. But they don't intend to prosecute this man. You know, money talks in this case. So whatever money and whatever connection that Dharamlal has, that's where this is going. You open your eyes and you will see there's no intention on the part of the DPP or the people or the PPP. They don't intend to allow this man to go through the system. What they're trying to do is say, oh, it was consensual. That's what they're trying to do here. So
All
you
right. Thank you so much for that, Miss Shalon Washington. If you're now joining us, I'm sure that Priyamanik Chan is still watching. Lots of things hanging over in terms of our lack of responsibility, or she basically neglected her responsibilities. And we know that what she did, they violated a crime scene there. That is Priya Manik Chan. She can let us know that that is not her, and that basically prop things up to make it appear to be her when it's not her. But that is her there at the crime scene. We saw what they did with regards to the little kids, brought them out of the hospital and put them up there for photo op. So that's what they do. And Priya Manik Chan has not responded to neglect from her ministry as it pertains to the warning that they got from UNICEF. The warning that they got from UNICEF, Priya Manikchan needs to tell the public what exactly did they do? What did she do? What exactly did she do with this information about the dorms throughout the country? And I'm sure that she did almost nothing at all. We want to go back though to this tape, actually, with what transpired in Parliament, and we'll look at it from another angle, according to Priya Manik-Chan. And while we're talking about Priya Manik-Chan, watch out for another school cash grant, because the school cash grant, just like the COVID cash grant, is a recipe for corruption of hundreds of millions of dollars being stolen by taxpayers. And we're not saying that Priya Manik-Chan stole millions of taxpayers' money. We're not saying that. I know Priya has a heck of a lot of money. She had a property in Pradoville too, that is Jagdeo's compound. She sold that property for almost $1 million while she was a sitting minister. Almost $1 million sold to a businessman that is connected to the PPP regime. Good night to you, Priya. Hope all is well. Let's get to this tape and play it from a different angle. She wants the tape to be from a different angle, and so we'll give her a different angle now.
Yep.
To be out of order, sir, because if we have four additional programs that have been added to the Ministry of the Presidency, and the same 2 hours that was given last year, it's going to be given to this year with 4 additional programs. It means the government don't want scrutiny of this budget. That is what it is. Stand up and be out of order, sir.
And I'm sorry you to leave this chamber and take no further part in the business.
Sir, I do not leave the chamber. I do not leave the chamber. I will not leave the chamber. For standing up for the people of Guyana, I want to take and speak. I'm not moving. I'm an elected member of this house to scrutinize this budget on behalf of the people of Guyana.
So what has happened there, Ms. Washington and our listeners, is that the Speaker of the National Assembly, Dr. Bertrand, ordered so-called Bishop Edghill to leave Parliament. He refused that order because he was behaving as per normal, a hooligan, a thug, a dunce thug. That is how he was behaving. He was disrupting Parliament, and the Speaker of the National Assembly, who is responsible for that entire chambers, ordered that he be removed from Parliament. He refused to do so. Hence, let's continue.
You don't want scrutiny on the budget. 4 more programs have been added to the Ministry of the Presidency, and you come in the top of the Ministry of the Presidency. You can't ask for proper questions.
These are the thugs who are asking and saying that proper questions cannot be asked. Under the coalition government, there has been nothing more than transparency in Parliament. they were so silly enough and they were so transparent and silly to a point that they'll allow a no confidence motion against them, right? But that's another story, mind you, right? And so Edgel and these thugs in the PPP have no moral authority to talk about transparency in Parliament when majority of the questions asked by members of Parliament in the opposition are being shut down. They're being denied motions upon motions to debate on the floor, being denied by that thug they have there by the name of that political thug they have by the name of so-called Speaker of the National Assembly, whatever his name is again. But let us continue here. Them is criminals. Them is thugs. Them ain't going nowhere. Man, drag them out of the damn place, man. Drag them out. Them ain't going nowhere. Look at this guy, formerly Cummings. It is said that it is reported that he murdered a man and he spent time in prison by the name of Cummings. That is what was reported. Now, if he wants to speak up on that, he can. We're not saying that Edgel murdered any man. We're not saying that. But that's the allegation, that he murdered a man when he was named Cummings and he spent some time in prison for that. Allegations, mind you. But we will continue. These nuts, these political nuts, suddenly are singing hymns. Some of them who have never sung hymns in their entire life suddenly start to sing the hymn that we were accustomed to hearing during the civil rights struggles in the 70s, in the 60s, and so forth with Dr. Martin Luther King, when it was genuine, when those times, and we have heard these things, those folks were sincere, not these hypocrites hollering, we shall. I bet that's all they know. We shall. Oh, let me bring you in, Miss Washington, up until this point. Let me bring you in. Your take on what you just saw there. We shall overcome. Go ahead.
I mean, that's not coming from a very genuine place, because they know very well that the people that should be singing "We Shall Overcome" is the Afro-Guyanese, the underprivileged people in Ghana, the Indo-Guyanese, who are supporting another political view other than that shared by the PPP. Those are the people who really need to be singing "We Shall Overcome." Or alternatively, it would have been the party that was in power at that time, which was APNU Coalition. But for the PPP to sing "We Shall Overcome," overcome what? What is there to overcome? You're controlling everything at this time. And even when we had a limited time that the coalition government was in power, even then they tried to pull their strings. They tried to control things. And when they didn't get their way, they cry wolf. But really and truly, they don't need to overcome anything. They've been controlling everything for too long. If anybody needs to be singing that song right now, is the people of Ghana who are being oppressed, who are losing their family members because of the extrajudicial killings that is going on there, who are being silenced every time they speak up against oppression, who are losing their properties under the PPP. A lot of people have been losing properties under the PPP, unjustifiably too. They're forcibly removed from properties that they've been occupying by squatting. Squatting is a common law right in Ghana. It should have acquired common law rights by now, because it's something that we just do in Ghana. You see a piece of land and you need somewhere to live, you occupy it. But the government of Ghana has been their conduct towards Guyanese has not been very friendly. They've been unjustifiably forcibly removing people from their property, people to work hard, earn their money, and spend the money to build a house so that they and their families could have a shelter over their head. And the PPP would rape, rob, and murder them with no justification, no compensation to their family. So they do not need to be singing "We Shall Overcome." As I said, the only people should be singing that right now are the oppressed people of Guyana. Those are the people who should be
And
singing that.
indeed, those oppressed, including a lot of our Indo brothers and sisters, Guyanese brothers and sisters, who are also being oppressed by the regime as a result of their affiliation to the APNU and the PNC and the AFC and so forth and so on. Priya Manik-Chand, getting back to her comment, she pretends, and she's a great pretender, as though they're concerned about women's rights and that the police were supposedly manhandling women and so forth. That wasn't the case at all. There's no evidence of such. And Priya Manik-Chand has to stop with these lies. But if Priya Manik-Chand, Miss Washington, is so concerned about women, Guyanese women, if she was so concerned, how is it we have never heard anything from her about this incident? And let's get to this incident, please, so that you guys can get an understanding and see how hypocritical Priya Manik-Chand is.
You gotta get dildo. That's what you're looking for. You gotta get dildo. That's what you're looking for. You gotta get dildo. That's what you're looking for.
Okay, Miss Washington, you heard there a man standing there as a member of parliament, telling a female member of parliament in the opposition that she got to get a dildo. Nothing from Priya Manik-Chand. Priya Manik-Chand is one saying that women and these crocodile tears about concerns about women. You heard what this rascal said in parliament. He wasn't suspended. He wasn't at all kicked out of parliament. But look here again.
You gotta get dildo. That's what you're looking for.
You gotta get you heard him there. Miss Washington, please, let's bring you in.
I think for a very long time, what Guyanese have done is condone conduct, even if it seems to, it probably didn't seem wrong to those in parliament at the time when that statement was made. But if you have people in power making sexual offensive statement like that to a female, somebody should have spoke up. Somebody should have take the lead and speak up against that, because that is an offensive sexual statement that was made against a female member of parliament in the opposition. And since then, when people see Dharam Lal, he was so sexually explicit in parliament itself, somebody should have checked this man and recognized that something is wrong, because if he's so comfortable making that statement openly in parliament, what else is he capable of? He's telling a female member of parliament, making that I wouldn't even repeat it here on this show, but making a sexually explicit statement there. Somebody should have checked him. And this is why we don't need this type of conduct in parliament. We don't need these types of thugs who got no moral scruples, no moral values. I don't know what type of people is the PPP hiring. What type of lawless people we have serving Guyana?
All right, you heard there, and we want to get to, since we want to let the people know exactly what transpired after that. Priya Manik-Chand was very, very quiet. This thug in parliament, these PPP thugs in parliament, nothing really happened. They weren't suspended. But let us see the person that he directed that remark to.
cry for help or just blatant disrespect? The screenshots recently posted on Facebook by one young woman showcasing a number of perverted messages allegedly sent by the Minister of Local Government, Nigel Darmlall, cannot be allowed to be swept under the rug. This was a consensus from APNU AFC members of Parliament Natasha Singh Lewis and Coretta MacDonald on Wednesday during the Advancing the Cause Facebook program. This view comes following a letter which was reportedly written to President Irfan Ali on Wednesday by the Alliance for Change Women's arm. In that missive, the union called on the president to launch an investigation into the conduct of the minister, one which would hear from women he would have offended, and to temporarily remove him from holding public office. In this light, it was made pellucid by St. Louis that the minister must be held accountable for his actions, since she claims that his action goes against what is entailed in the Integrity Commission Act of 2017. The Act highlights the 10 principles of public life, which highlights how public officials should conduct themselves.
There's a code of conduct, legally binding order 10 of 2017 that falls under the Integrity Commissions Act that can be referenced and that can be used to hold public officials accountable.
Considering that she herself has been a victim of the minister's disrespect in the form of a vile dildo comment in the National Assembly, St. Louis believes that the minister may need psychological help.
I think.
Okay, so happy Eid Mubarak. That is the minister that he basically told that she probably needs a dildo. Nothing, no action. Irfan Ali took no action against him. The Speaker of the National Assembly took no action against him. Nothing whatsoever. And this is an Indo-Guyanese woman. And just to show you the disrespect that they have for Indo-Guyanese women and men who are not part of the PPPC. And even if you're part of the PPPC, it's still the same disrespect. And we go back with Jagdev, who was said to have been married to Vashni. Vashni outlined publicly that she was not treated right in that so-called marriage and that it was basically a fake marriage. She was ill-treated, she was abused. And when Priya Manikchan, who was then Minister of Social Services, actually said that that is a private matter between Jagdev and her. It's a private matter. Story done. Your take, 24 minutes after 10. Gosh, we've gone way over time. Your take on all of this that we have seen and the disrespect towards the female member of parliament, but specifically, this is the MP, Natasha Singh Lewis, who was being targeted with that dildo comment.
Yeah, Mark, this is so disrespectful on so many levels. I think it goes against our religious morals or values and everything. It was highly inappropriate and very, very disrespectful to this woman. Look at the way she carries herself, very conservative. And when a comment of this nature is met out against, we need to respect, first of all, people's religion and their points of view. And whatever conservative values that they have, we need to respect it. And when a person like Dharam Lal comes out and make a sexual offensive comment like that towards a person like Mrs. Singh Lewis, it ought to be dealt with very, very seriously. We, in a democratic society, we're taught to respect people's religious and political values, and you're not to be offensive in that regard. And if you're found to be offending a person in that light, you ought to be dealt with on a very, very serious level. And in this case, Dharam Lal being a public figure, making that comment towards this member of parliament, he ought to have been dealt with, or he should have been suspended. But I guess, this is the way things are with the way things are swept under the rug in Guyana. It's often condoned. We condone, I said earlier, wrongful conduct is condoned. We acquiesce to it. We allow it to continue on a perpetual basis. And, at some point, we got to find a way to put an end to it so that Guyanese people wake up and recognize when something isn't right. Dharam Lal isn't right. Something is definitely wrong with him. He's a pedophile. He's make inappropriate comments, and nobody should be sitting in a public office making inappropriate comments to a conservative member of parliament. She's religious. Look at the way she's dressing her. She's well covered up, very conservative Muslim member of parliament. it should not have been allowed. He should have been fired on the spot for making that comment to her, as a matter of fact. Because if they had fired him, then Mark, we wouldn't be thinking about the situation we have now.
Probably not, but Air Finale refused to do anything. The Speaker of the National Assembly, who is said to be a Canadian citizen, he sits there as the Speaker of the National Assembly with an alleged pedophile, So let us now, as I'm wondering, if, let's say, for example, this was in the reverse, where a member of parliament, let us say Christopher Jones or some other member of parliament there in the opposition, had hurled this sort of dildo remarks to a PPP member of parliament, a Muslim PPP member of parliament, a female. I'm not sure they have any, but let us say that was the case. Then we would have been hearing from all of the Muslim organizations in Guyana, mainly the CIOG, that is headed by Shalimar Haque's husband. We would have been hearing from them condemning all of the organizations, but not a single organization condemned Dharamlal, not the CIOG, not the whatever other Muslim organizations in Guyana, nothing of the sort, nothing. And I hope this lady who sits there as the DPP is listening, because she was also quiet. Her husband was quiet. Everyone were just quiet in the Muslim community. But we all know why they were quiet. As we prepare to wrap up tonight's program, I want to get back to that other videotape where there was this ruckus in Parliament. I want the people to read. I want them to see exactly what transpired, because we are not going to leave anything out. Let's go back to what transpired there.
Harassing the women in Parliament.
Police brutality! Police brutality! Police
Police is making an arrest or attempting to make an arrest for someone who has done and who is not threatening any harm to anybody.
Come on, a bunch of baloney. Come on, fake tears, Priya. You would look, Priya, fake tears. How many of you think that Priya should get this award tonight? How many of you? Let us hear while we get the closing remarks from Miss Washington. Fake tears. Stop it, Priya. Police didn't go there to harass anybody. You guys were the thugs, Priya. You guys were the hooligans, Priya. Come on, stop it. Stop with the crocodile tears. It's the same way you behaved at the ambassador's residence. It's the same way you keep behaving, constantly behaving, disrespecting people's rights and all these manner of things. Why is it that the girls, all those 20 kids who lost their lives in Madhya, in that dorm, that your ministry received a report from UNICEF? Up to now, you can't tell us what you did with that report. Not at all. You can't, because you know why you cannot say it. Come on. Shame on you, Priya Manikchan. Shame on you. How many of you think she should get the award tonight? But in the meanwhile, let's get your closing remarks, please, Miss Washington.
You know, Mark, I think it's a task. It's a task, and
just before you continue with your closing. Priya, hey, that lady could fake a cry, you know. That woman. This is a serious show. Continue with your closing remarks, please.
It's a task to continue to point out the illicit conduct of the PPP and to continue to expose them, so that people of Guyana will wake up and see that they're being controlled by a government that doesn't really concern themselves about the real issues. The real issues is whether the people of Guyana has food on their table, whether they have a job to wake up tomorrow and go to, where they getting an income from, what is being done with the oil money, whether or not their welfare services to cater for victims of domestic violence, whether or not we really focus on the real issues and not just focus on the ministers focus on filling their pockets. Mark just exposed tonight the situation with Priamatic Chan selling the property for 1 million US. Now, how many properties people in Guyana know sell for 1 million US? Because there are very fewer properties in America sells for $1 million, and those are like the mansions. It's $1 million or over. So the people gonna have to sit down and really realistically question what are they condoning, what type of people we're condoning in government, and whether or not it is conducive to a democracy to continue to allow this to go on a perpetual basis. At some point, it's, we have to stop. We have to put an end to it. And once again, I'm grateful to be on this show tonight. I want to say thank you to all the listeners out there who have tuned in, who have shared the link, and paid attention to some of the issues Mark discussed from time to time on this show. I want to thank you, Mark, for having me on this show. And I want to say openly congratulations to Mark on his accomplishment, on his new certification, which I think many of you saw he posted online. And I want to say again, thank you everyone for your support, your kind support. Thank you for all of your referrals. I am so grateful and I appreciate you guys. And we will continue to fight and to press until we see a democracy in Guyana. We need a democratic society where the future generations of Guyana could thrive in unity and in love. One nation, one people, one destiny. We wouldn't rest until we see that in Guyana. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ms. Washington. We appreciate your time as always. Always genuine. We will have tomorrow night. We'll have some more folks, including our very own Wayne Caesar is going to be with us tomorrow evening. I'm sorry, they say. I think it was Barris Hammond who said, "Big man don't cry," right? Well, big woman has cried too. Look at the fake tears. Let's go back. I want people to see how fake this woman is.
That should not include punching.
We saw the video. We saw everything. Priya never get punched. Priya get punched. Who punched Priya? Who?
In my chest.
A male police
and in my belly.
Oh gosh, they punched Priya in her chest. Did you guys see any evidence that they punched Priya? Miss Washington, I know you had your closing remarks already. Priya get punched. Did you see that, Miss Washington?
I saw no such thing. I did not notice anywhere on the video. What I saw is Priya bracing against the police officer in a manner as if she was pushing against them. I did not notice any punch at any point in that video. And I'm pretty sure if Miss Manichan was punched, she would have pressed charges against that police officer.
She punched, she harassed, she punched, she got punched. Oh, Priya, just imagine if the cameras weren't there, what the other allegations would have been like against those policemen.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it should not include pushing us into chairs and tables, edges. In an attempt to do that, the same police who was unable to determine who Santa was along the lawn.
I'm able. I'm done with this. Priya, gotta get a national award tonight. She gets the award. 1, 2. nothing to Priya, nothing. Priya ain't get pushing. They're the ones who push themselves. They push themselves on the police. They ram themselves. And you know, if I were one of those police there, y'all know I would have get smashed up, right? Y'all don't know I would have get smashed up based on the size and thing. Priya then would have walked all over me there, boy. And look the crocodile teeth. And look the face. Look Komal Chang to her left, on the left side of the screen. Well, he has passed away. Look, the other guy now with the glasses standing there with his face looking like Hitler. He's the one that videoed the police that worked, I believe, for over 14 or 16 or 20 something hours at his house, and video the policeman sleeping. Look at Smokey. She looked like she get kakai, right? Look at the one behind. Oh gosh, look, I'm sick and tired, man, of these folks. Oh man, get them off the screen. Miss Washington, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you again, Mark, and good night.
Before you go, do you have it in you that you can just look at the screen, look at people just like that and just start cry, just a dry? A bare-faced dry cry?
I would never engage in such conduct. It takes a special type of person with a certain type of characteristics to do fake tears and fake allegations against innocent people. So we know who those people are.
Against innocent people, indeed. Against innocent people, indeed. Miss Washington, as always, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it so much.
Good night. So this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
And so Priya probably went on her page and sent some trench crappos over. And so thank you, Lemon. Lemon has been complaining. They send some trench crappos over, but we're not too bothered about those trench crappos and so forth. Lots of other things we want to discuss with you, but we went in the direction of exposing the hypocrisy of the PPP regime, exposing the hypocrisy of Priya Manikchan and how dangerous these folks are. Trust me, they're very dangerous and they love to twist things around. But luckily, we have the evidence. We know what's going on. And so we're not bothered by that. We're not bothered by threats. We don't bother by those folks, man. But don't forget, we will be back. I've noticed that, look, I have issues with some of these PNC people. I'm going to the PNC people now. One guy, because he ain't getting a chance to go in, not parliament, the council. Everybody believes that because they participated and they went out there on the campaign, that everybody got to get a position. Wait, man, is everybody who campaigned got to get a position? I might as well cry for a position too. You guys might as well cry to put me in a position in the city council or somewhere. Put me in a position, because like everybody's crying to be in a goddamn position. And when they can't get their way, when they can't get a position, then they threaten that they're going to leave the PNC. One guy is threatening that, look, that guy has already made his mind up as to where he's going. And watch him. The minute if he threatens, he means no good for the party. Simple as that. And watch it, because some of them already made their minds up. And if some of them going there as councillors, they're going to sell you guys out. They're going to sell you guys out in Georgetown. They're going to sell you guys out in New Amsterdam. Watch for these people. Watch for these sellouts. One particular guy, don't start crying. Watch him go over, you know where. Watch him put on a red bukta or a red G-string or something tomorrow and wind up all over in Albistown. Just watch what I'm talking about. Are we ever wrong on there are sometimes we get it wrong, but trust me, for this one we can get it wrong at all. Watch out to tomorrow. Watch out tomorrow for that G-string or that buckler, that red hot G-string that he's going to put on and run all over Albaistown with it. And back to Priya now. Sorry about that, guys. I sometimes get a little bit carried away on this show, right? I get a little bit carried away on this show, and you guys got to rein me back in, please. Priya Manikchan, I don't know. What else can we do before we go with Priya and her hypocrisy?
I'm missing you. I'm missing you. Dry cry, even tears, even my heart cries.
Dry cry, right? Dry cry. Hey, I've got to go. I love you guys. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. I want you guys to have a great rest of the night, wherever you are, whatever you're going to be doing. Do it safe, be safe, drive safe, do everything safe. But don't forget, stand up for your rights. Guyana is under threat. Democracy is under threat by the corrupt PPPC regime. These vagabonds, that's who they are, a pack of vagabonds. And here is where, again, this guy, we can't forget, look, y'all make y'all mind up. Y'all be prepared for this here, that when the file goes back to the DPP, there's nothing new going to be in that file. And so the DPP chambers is already set on not charging Nigel Darmlal. Story done. Why we, story done. They're not going to charge. But yet they got some pakus want us to let the system work. Sorry, tonight is my antics night, right? Let the system work. I love you guys. I love you guys. God bless you all. God bless you all. God bless you all. I don't know. We gotta pray for Guyana. Guyana is run by a bunch of criminals, a bunch of hooligans, a bunch of madmen and women. Whew. See y'all tomorrow. Wayne Caesar is going to be with me and some other folks. We got lots of other things to talk about. And good night to the folks in Plaisance as well. So long. Oh, thank you for all the congratulatory messages and so forth. Thank you. Immigration, soon to be an immigration lawyer. I love that, right? But immigration consultant for now. If you have any immigration concerns, any immigration matters, whatever, always inbox me. I'll guide you. You never know. Be your immigration consultant, your darling immigration consultant. So long.
So this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
With another one, straight up, blackness I am. Aye, who tell the truth? Mark Ben stop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Ben stop, registration is the truth. Mark Ben stop, straight up from the root. Mark Ben stop, who tell the truth? Mark Ben stop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Ben stop, registration is the truth. Mark Ben stop, straight up from the root. Mark Ben stop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. We go up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up and SCAP stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can need it, don't contact the cripple can walk. Who tell the truth? Mark and stop. Defend the ghetto youth. Mark and stop. Radio station is the truth. Mark and stop. Straight up from the root. Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Scott. Defend the ghetto youth. Mark Scott. Radio station is the fruit. Mark Scott. Straight up from the root. Mark Scott. Who tell the truth? Mark Scott. Defend the ghetto youth. Mark Scott. Radio station is the fruit. Mark Scott. Straight up from the root. Mark Scott. I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, and SCAP stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Scott. Defend the ghetto youth. Mark Scott. Radio station is the fruit. Mark Scott. Straight up from the root. Mark Scott. Who tell the truth? Mark Scott. Defend the ghetto youth. Mark Scott. Radio station is the fruit. Mark Scott. Straight up from the root. Mark Scott. We have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Ben Scott upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and on the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Scott. Defend the ghetto youth. Mark Scott. Radio station is the truth.